Copyright is a second step. It is not at the moment of creation. This is before you do a copyright. You're not going to copyright an idea. Even if you hum a song, pay $50 and copyright and wait several months to get a piece of paper. By the time that paper comes, you've already progressed along the way. You want it done within 30 seconds.
That's Nadim Rahman, founder and CEO of Songproof, a dual blockchain platform that lets creators timestamp their songs for 99 cents. He believes that if you can timestamp a song at the moment of creation, you can create evidence that the idea started with you.
You get a tune in your head and you wake up and you play it, whatever you want to do, you do it, you songproof it. At that moment, you're the only one who's registered to have 100% in the split. A week later, you get together with people and say, hey guys, I want you to hear this. Now, when you tell them that I want you to hear this, you're going in there with the full confidence that you're protected. That's number one. Nobody's going to steal it. Or if they do, you have evidence that, no, you stole it from me.
In this episode, you'll learn how to protect your song the moment inspiration strikes, how blockchain timestamps can create a clear digital record of when your song was created, and how documenting your work before sharing it with collaborators can give you more confidence when it's time to create together. Stick around. I'm Bobby Owsinski, and this is my Inner Circle podcast. Tell me about Songproof. What is Songproof?
Well, Songproof basically is a passion project for all of us. We are 3 founders of the company. And my background is in music. And later on, I became more of a tech guy. And I've done a lot of stuff in tech. There's our second partner. Her name is Hina Rizvi. And she's actually an entertainment lawyer from Toronto. And Mario is a well-wisher ambassador of Songproof. He's been with us all the time. So we're the 3 people who started it. Then I recruited a few more people along the way, the tech people, to actually build the product. So it actually came from a very early personal experience I had, because I used to be a musician, I used to be a drummer and a songwriter. And we did pretty well back in the 80s, early 80s. Somehow, when the music side got into the whole thing, music business side, I saw the writing on the wall and I bounced.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
So I have first-hand experience on it is how I felt. And roughly, I was 40 years afterwards. I never forgot that time. I'm still involved with music in every way I can. I still jam time to time with my friends. And but that childhood memory never lost me. And I always felt that I left it for the wrong reason, because my passion didn't go away. I walked away from it. So I took it as a passion project that with all my tech knowledge that I've gathered over the 40 years, is there something that I can do? And this idea really came as a spark of inspiration overnight. Just one night I was thinking about it, and it generally is, it really came in a dream. I know it sounds weird, but it really literally came in a dream, and then got up and I started thinking about it. Then I did my own stuff. Then I pitched it to a few people. They couldn't understand what I was talking about at the beginning. So then I said, okay, let me set up to actually put my idea on a piece of paper. And that's how the whole thing came about. And other people joined along the way. And essentially what it is how do you protect your intellectual idea or your creative idea at the moment it hits you? Now, that could be in the middle of the night because you have a guitar lying beside your bed. We've all been there, okay? You can't time when you feel creative, when something hits you. It could be some lyrics that you heard in your dream and you're telling yourself, this is the best thing I ever wrote. And you're telling yourself, I know I'll forget it in the morning.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So how do you capture that moment? That's where this whole thing came from. So the idea is very simple. If there was a mechanism by which I could either record directly on a mobile app, that's how the idea came. Now, voice notes and all that are there. There's nothing fancy about that. But how do I timestamp it right there? So
in order to protect it.
And protect it.
Have you ever noticed that mixing vocals is often the hardest part of getting a track to sound right? You boost, you compress, you add effects, and it still doesn't feel professional. So, to make it easier, I put together a simple mini course on vocal mixing that walks you through the exact steps to get the vocals sounding clear and upfront. If you're interested, scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the show notes. Now, back to today's conversation.
Now, when the word timestamp came about, I started thinking, well, how do I do that timestamp? And that's where the whole idea of blockchain came about. And I said, okay, I know what has to be done. If I timestamp it on the Bitcoin blockchain, which is a very popular blockchain, is irrefutable evidence of the moment of creation. And it sits independent of the platform which it came from. So blockchain records are available to the public. So Songproof, whether it exists, it doesn't exist. The blockchain record never disappears. It's there forever. If that wasn't the case, the whole world of cryptocurrency wouldn't exist. Bitcoin and all this thing. Okay. So I knew there was a merit to the idea. So I took it further. Then we started introducing, well, okay, so that's fine. Timestamp, real time recording is fine. Split sheets. That's a big problem. How do we record the split sheet? And that whole idea took us into the Polygon blockchain, where you can actually do a smart contract. And that idea took some shape. Then you have Polygon blockchain, you have Bitcoin blockchain. Okay, now how do you marry them together? So is dual blockchain verified, time stamped with a QR code that sees right into the public blockchain, which you can present it to a court as an evidence. And it is true, it can be, because many, many courts accept it. And more courts are accepting it. And the whole idea is to basically prevent the dispute before it starts, or walk into a publisher with a little bit of bargaining power. So that was the whole idea. The next challenge was, okay, so the minute you talk blockchain, crypto, and all that, you lose half the people. So I said, no, that'll be all invisible. That's what we manage on the back end. On the customer facing side, there is no crypto wallet, none of that stuff. There's no subscription even. I said that, no, I don't want subscription because everybody's got subscription fatigue. But it'll be, you just buy as you go, or you can buy blocks of it. If you don't ever use it, you never use it. We don't want your credit card that we're going to charge over and over again. So you just pay for what you want. And what happens in the background that I talked about, it just happens magically in the background. People are not even aware of it. And what is very interesting is that not only do we timestamp the details of the smart contract or details of the split sheet, and we timestamp it on the Bitcoin blockchain, we do the same treatment with your audio file as well. So your actual song lives in the blockchain.
Okay, so you're not just giving it metadata, so to speak. You're giving it the audio file, and the audio file is a verification. Basically, this is the song.
So if you have beats, you have stems, you have this, you have that, it's a part of your whole audio file. So it's not trying to segregate and trying to defend yourself on a segmented basis. You have the entire thing right there. So that anyhow, that idea really caught some people off guard. They said, hey, how come nobody has it? Then we did a lot of research to try to find out who has done it. Well, there's a few companies that claim to have done it or something similar. Early on, we found a company that tried to do this, not exactly the way we're doing it, but they were using some Chinese blockchain. But they were not really talking about the split sheet. It was a mix up of what I explained versus what they did. Didn't really go anywhere, as far as I know. They kind of launched it and it didn't go anywhere. So this idea of Songproof took such a life of its own that, given my tech background, because I've been in Silicon Valley most of my life, I've been in and out of that circuit many times, so I know how that thing works. Contacted a patent attorney. We actually have a patent pending on this idea in the US. So it hasn't been granted yet. We applied for it last year, but it'll come up for review this year. And everything that we've seen so far, nobody's actually put those two dual blockchain together.
Yeah, that's unique, and I'm glad you explained that, because that was going to be a question of mine. Why the two blockchains? But you explained it. It's for the song splits.
The song splits. The song splits.
I write a song. I'm here with my writing partner. We write a song right now. Or no, let's actually make it something simpler. In the middle of the night, I get an idea. I get up and I do this, and I go on Songproof and I register it. Well, as we all know, songs evolve and they change over time. So what my original idea might have been could have changed substantially till the end. So how does that work then? How do you resolve that?
Sure. So you're talking about versioning. So basically what ends up happening is that, and I'm going to bring in a topic here, which is not necessary at this moment, but I have to bring that in, that our cost is so cheap. It's 99 cents per song. That is, if you buy a package of 25, it literally becomes $1 a song. So, and most people that are buying packages, 90% of them are buying the $25 pack. They're taking a lot of legacy stuff and they're songproofing it. So, so coming back to the versioning, so you get a tune in your head, and you wake up and you hum it, play it, whatever you want to do, you do it, you songproof it. At that moment, you're the only one who's registered to have 100% in the split. A week later, you get together with people and say, "Hey guys, I want you to hear this." Now, when you tell them that I want you to hear this, you're going in there with the full confidence that you're protected. That's number one. Nobody's going to steal it. Or if they do, you have evidence that, no, you stole it from me. And take it wherever that goes, but at least you have evidence. Now, when you sit down with the people and say, let's do a version 2 of this. So you keep the same song name, audio file will change, and you call it version 2. Or you may want to give it a different name, whatever you want. Just costs you 99 cents more. So the progression of the journey of a song, where it started and where it ended, may have 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10 versions, but you are protected in each step of the way.
They don't live in the same place then, and essentially there would be 10 different QR codes, right?
Exactly. But in the blockchain, all the history is there. So if you go to your third session and you bring more musicians in, and say when the split discussion comes up, they'll want equal split. You may say, "Hey, no, guys, this is my idea. I'm going to keep 50%. 50%, you guys divide it up any way you want." It all depends how you want to do it. But it gives you a bargaining point with evidence.
The fact that you have an attorney involved makes me feel good, because that would be one of the questions where, okay, how legally valid is this when it comes to a court?
So if you go to our website, there is a tab on the top called Legal. And if you go into the Legal tab, we have spent a lot of time trying to demystify the whole traditional copyright concept, how it actually works. I mean, to be very honest with you, I was shocked when Henna, the entertainment lawyer, she did a research. She said, "Guys, U.S. is about the only few places in the world where there's statutory damages. The rest of the world doesn't have it. It is based on having to prove what was the damage caused by somebody stealing it. And the question is, how do you prove it if you cannot prove it when you did it?" Okay. Now, I brought in the word copyright, but copyright is a second step. It is not at the moment of creation. This is before you do a copyright. You're not going to copyright an idea.
I don't think you can, right? I don't think you can copyright an idea anyway.
I don't think you can. Even if you hum a song, I mean, pay $50 on copyright and wait several months to get a piece of paper. Because by the time that paper comes, you've already progressed along the way. You want it done within 30 seconds. Okay, and that's what Songproof gives you in your pocket. And basically, the way I don't like to use this word, but to be honest with you, Bobby, I haven't come up with a better word. Explain what Songproof is. Songproof is. I said, It's the birth certificate of your song.
I love that. That's great.
It literally is the birth certificate of your song.
Make sure you use that in your marketing. That's wonderful.
You know,
I mean, that explains it. That explains the whole thing right there.
That explains the whole thing.
Okay, so I think the big question here for a lot of people will be, I understand, but many people probably listening don't, because they don't understand how copyright works, and they'll go, well, does this replace copyright?
No, it does not. It does not. However, in US, the distinction is extremely clear, because a blockchain certificate will give you proof of evidence, and it is there to prevent dispute. But it does not carry any statutory amount with it. So you still should copyright the song out of those versioning that you do if you want access to the $150,000 statutory damage, which the lawyers would like to be involved in, because they're going to get they're going to get their cut out of it, right? So they'll take that on. I mean, you've been around the circuit many years. You know how this works. You know, you walk into a lawyer's office, like, I got nothing. I don't have a copyright. I said, why wasting my time? But that is true in US. But majority of the world does not even have a statutory amount. A lot of the places in the world doesn't even have an enforceable copyright law. And we are in 50 plus countries right now. We only launched like 2.5 months ago. And every day I look at it, I say, where are these people coming from? From Africa, from Middle East, from Europe, from South Asia. Of course, US and Canada is there, which we thought our majority of the customers are going to come from. And they are the biggest portion. But we get Nigeria is blowing up because they don't have any copyright. And it's all export music.
Okay. If you don't have copyright, then here you go. This is perfect.
This is perfect. And they cannot come and do copyright in US. It's too expensive for them. But at least they have evidence. This is a universal time code that no court in the world can deny, because it's UTC based, universal time code, not local time code.
You know, it's funny, we're talking about attorneys and money and statutory. I remember doing a session with the bass player from it wasn't a famous band. It was a band that everybody knew, but they never blown up. And I talked, and we got to talking, and he was telling me about a song that was very big on the charts at the time, that they were sure that was copied from something that they did. I said, well, why aren't you suing them? Why aren't you, making an infringement case on this? He says, no, we're waiting until it gets as big as possible. And that,
go after it.
Yeah. And that way, all the attorneys will want to be in on it. Makes sense.
Unlike US, if you have a copyright, at least you'll have an attorney willing to talk to you.
Yeah, right.
But in the rest of the world, that's not happening. They won't give you the time of the day because sadly, most musicians are not wealthy when they're starting their career. They're struggling in one form or another, and they don't have the retainer that a normal lawyer would require.
You mentioned before about uploading an audio file. Is that stored on the blockchain, or is that stored somewhere else?
That is stored in a separate server, but the binary format is stored in the blockchain. So we take the binary image of that file and is put in the blockchain. But the server that it stores in, which is controlled by Songproof, even we don't have access to it because this is proprietary to the user. On the user side, they can always listen to their music. I have a master dashboard, but I can't access anybody's song. It's all grayed out.
Well, of course, you'd have to do that for your own protection. Yes, that makes perfect sense. I mean, that's the same thing when people send you songs that are unsolicited. You go, wait, don't send me your files. It's not a good thing. No.
That's what most people don't understand. That it's not the sender who's got the issue. The receiver also has an issue by getting something like this.
One place I think this could be very useful is like on YouTube with takedown requests, which are the bane of everybody's existence.
Yep.
And this seems like could be very useful if they actually recognize this.
Well, that question was raised to me many times over the last 1 year. And takedown notices is something that I went after because I saw a lot of uh, challenges in that discussion, that when a takedown notice happened, the way YouTube handles that customer relationship is not good, in my opinion. Not good. It really is not good. They kind of wash their hands away and they say, well, he said it first, so he stays until you say otherwise and prove it. And the question came up with how would a Songproof certificate or Songproof data at that time help mitigate that? So my question was very simple: that are you really going to tell me that Google will not accept blockchain as a valid form of evidence? I mean, that kind of sounds funny.
What would you do then? Would you send them the QR code as proof?
Yeah. There's an actual certificate in your catalog that sits there, and the certificate has the two QR code. And we also have something called a proof.zip that you can download. It's all part of your catalog. And the proof.zip goes to the lawyers. So you'll send them the QR code and you'll send the proof.zip. Then let them figure it out, because it's a tech company. If a tech company says, I don't believe in blockchain, there's something wrong with that. That's like, there's something wrong with that argument.
Okay, this is obviously a great idea. So how do you get the idea out to people that really need this?
Well, I mean, the vision is very clear for all of us, and I've championed the vision to the best way I can, and I have not budged. Yes, business is profit. It's about profit. It's about all those things. But most of us have done all of that stuff in our life. This is giving back something to the community that a lot of us who can relate to this story ran away from. So that's why we kept the price so cheap. And Bobby, you wouldn't believe how many people told us, dude, you can charge 10 times more. Okay. I said, no, I don't want to do that, because then I'm no better than anybody else in this game. And so the idea is, how do I get it out there? So we're doing our social media, general social media, and appearing everywhere we can, like your podcast, for example, which we're very thankful for. And we just want the word to spread, because I think this is a very valuable tool, not only in North American context, on a global context.
You know, one of the things I've noticed is younger versus older founders, just in general. And when it comes to money, where the older the founder, it seems like the less concerned they are with the profit, and they're more concerned with making the product available by a lower price.
Yeah, well, I fit the demographic.
yeah, that's right. And the reason why I say that, I have a friend that's creating a new social network that it's entirely different than anything, that's out there, that is going to make it kind of easy for people. It was the same thing. It's like, no, we have to do this so it's reasonable, and we'll make it a lot of it free. And then, if you go past a certain limit, then you pay, but it's not that much. And it's like everybody was telling him, well, you can do more, especially the VCs. VCs are saying, more. Yeah. So, this is okay as is. Yeah.
There's a funny story I got to tell you about that side of the thing, but can you go ahead? I mean, but
no, go ahead. I want to hear it.
I completely get it. I mean, you're right. At a certain point, it's not about profitability. I mean, it matters because you have to keep your company going. But at one point, it becomes really about, it's a marriage between legacy and profitability. And that's a very interesting situation when you reach that point in your life. And most people probably will not be able to understand it unless you've seen both sides of it. And I've been lucky enough that I've been successful in my tech world. I've seen exactly what you're talking about, the VCs. I've seen it. I've seen people literally jumping off building because of those types of situations. It's ugly. It's really ugly. And when people ask me about investment in Songproof, I say, listen, I'm open to it, but I'm not chasing after it. I'm not chasing after it because it has to make sense. I'm not going to do it for the sake of just getting money. And it's all self-funded to keep them out.
Yeah. Okay. Makes perfect sense.
Literally. Yeah. I don't mean any disrespect, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Okay. But the right people, yes, I'll definitely listen.
They're hard to find.
Yeah, very hard to find.
Especially in tech.
Especially in tech.
All right, last question, Nadim. In your journeys, and you've had plenty of experiences, I should say. What's the best piece of advice that either you learned along the way or somebody imparted to you?
I have been fortunate. I've had some great mentors in my life that I still look up to. And I think one of the biggest advice I would give young people right now, or anybody listening to the podcast, that you're not going to get all the answers. It's not possible. Your job is to find the right mentor who you can trust, who is out there looking for your best interest, gives you good guidance. That's number one. If you find a good mentor, you're 50% of the game there. The other 50% really comes down to, and these are very cliche words, but I have seen it in my life and it does apply. That's why I can say it. That if you chase money for the sake of chasing money, you may get it, but that's pretty much it, man. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to realize, why am I going to get up next morning? And it does happen. But if you do something for your passion, whatever that may be, most likely money will follow you because you don't realize the work you do because you're enjoying it. But nobody can give you a timeline like a paycheck. That's the only problem with that.
All right. Finally, how can people find Songproof?
Very simple. Just go to songproof.com, is SONGPROOF.com. And our social media is there at Songproof. That's our Instagram handle. And if you go to our homepage, if you go to the footer of the page, all our social links are there. And pretty much everything is there that you need. And we are trying to stay very active with our social media outreach. We are constantly putting new stuff out there. And we're getting some very good response. And I would urge people, when they visit our website, sign up. The first song is free. You don't even need your credit card. You just register. You can register your first song for free. If you like it, then buy it. You can buy one song for $2.99, or you can buy the $25 pack, whatever you want. We don't ask for your credit. It's not a subscription, so there's nothing to worry about. And apart from that, take it for a spin. And there's a tab called Legal on the top navigation bar. I would encourage everybody to take a look at it because that really would give a lot of clarity in this whole copyright world that they're going to eventually have to enter, especially in the US because of the statutory gain. The rest of the world, we have actually broken down all the countries, more or less as much as we can, and show them that, listen, that statutory is very unique to US, but the rest of the world doesn't have it. And we've also showcased the courts who have agreed to it, who are actually admitting World Intellectual WIPO, World Intellectual something Forum. They actually have recognized blockchain as a solid form of evidence. And that spans all over Asia and Europe. And US has also allowed the same things to happen. We are right at the right time. That is growing, we are growing. So it's a pretty interesting thing when you see that in business, because that doesn't usually happen.
Well, it's a great idea, and it's something that's very useful, and the price is certainly right. So good luck with it. Thank you, Nadim.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening and being in my inner circle. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, you can send them to questions@bobbyowsinski.com. You can also learn all about the latest in music, audio, and production news, and find out about openings for my latest online classes at bobbyowsinski.com. This is Bobby Owsinski. I will see you next time.